Meghan Markle a fashion icon or a fashion disaster? Hi guys, my name is Brittany. Welcome to Royal News Network, and today is Fashion Friday, and we are talking about Meghan Markle, who will be giving us a fashion show at the Invictus Games, I'm sure, of very ill-fitting and very expensive clothes that just probably look pretty bad on her. That's been her general fashion trend as of late. So I thought just for fun, we would go over 5 of her best and 5 of her worst fashion moments. Obviously, Meghan has really enjoyed having access to a royal credit card and really enjoyed going for the most expensive outfits that she possibly could, many of which were ill-fitting or just didn't look great on her, were often wrinkled as well. So guys, we will be going over a couple. So let me know what you think. What is her best and worst fashion look, and follow along with me. So I'll be kind of going from, I'll be switching off, going between best and worst. And then I will also be kind of starting with kind of the lowest on each of those ladders, working up to the best, I think, and then working up to the worst. So without further ado, let's get started. Oh, and if you haven't subscribed already, this channel keeps growing. So if you want to be part of our great community here, that would be fantastic. We talk about everything related to royals. So that's news, gossip, fashion, history, television shows, and movies. We will do it all here. Obviously, this channel is just a month old, so we're just kind of continuing to kind of grow, and I'm getting new content together. It's been a busy time, and so I'm really excited. So yes, feel free to subscribe, and click the notification bell as well so you can be notified every time I upload a new video. So for our first outfit, we'll go with the suit that Meghan wore to the Well Child Awards. This was in 2018 after she had married Harry, and I really do genuinely like this look. It's an Altuzzer suit, and so that's the pants and jacket. She wore a Ditas Cocoa Silk camisole, and Aquazzura pumps, which were one of her favorite brands, which I do like Aquazzura. I like a lot of their looks. And so I really do think this is a great look. I really like the professionalism of it. For a long time, I wished Kate would start wearing more suits, and she has. I really like women's suits. I do. I don't wear them a ton, but I really do like them on others. They don't always look best on me, but they look best on a lot of people. They look good on a lot of people. And so I really think this is a great look for Meghan. I think it was maybe the wrong venue for it though. She wore black a lot, and black does look good on her, but royals generally try to stay away from black. And it was also to an event with children who have either severe disabilities or who have, severe illnesses, those sorts of things. And so it would have been much better, I think, for her to wear some bright colors to kind of cheer up the kids. I think the white and orange suit that Kate wore, that would have been kind of a better thing to go with. But I will say I do really like the look. I think it was one of Meghan's better looks as a royal. So our first in the worst column, or I guess lowest in the worst, yeah. We're working up to the highest in the worst column, because we're working down our way to the lowest. It is this Oscar de la Renta dress she wore to a Spencer family wedding shortly after her own wedding, and I just think this thing is just such a disaster. She looks so sloppy. The dress does not fit her. It's too big for her. She doesn't really have the curves, I don't think, to really make this dress work. I think it needs a woman with, more curves to her, or maybe taller or something. And then her hair was messy. She had kind of a messy, cheap fastener on, and just the whole look was just, ugh. It just looked so bad. And then, oh my gosh, so she wore her bespoke Aquazzura pumps from her own wedding, which were white, to an English wedding, and proceeded to walk around in the mud in them. That was such a mistake. I mean, she really should have asked, one of the other royal ladies, or basically any other British woman, what type of shoes she should wear to a wedding like that, and it was not those shoes. Because I'm sure she probably ruined them walking around in the mud for no apparent reason. Like, she did not need to wear those shoes, or maybe get a patent leather or something that she can kind of wipe off. And it's just like, I don't know. I just really think this look it's just kind of epitomized her look as a royal, which was very much sloppy. She looked very sloppy as a royal oftentimes. And so even though this is a private event, obviously photographers were there. They often are at aristocrat weddings. And so I just think this was kind of a bad look from Meghan. Moving on to the next best dress, and this one is actually connected to the Aquazzura pumps she wore. It was her wedding reception dress. I think the cut on this dress is very nice, and I think it looks pretty good on her. And I think this was probably more of what she would have worn if she had done kind of the right thing and done a small wedding with Harry without the titles involved and all the pomp and circumstance and all the millions and millions of dollars British taxpayers paid for her quote unquote spectacle of a wedding that she didn't really want, apparently. And so I think this look is good. I think the cut is good. I mean, there's nothing really all that interesting about it. And from the back, because we saw the back of it in their first Christmas picture, I wasn't all that impressed with it from the back, but I do think it's quite a good look. It was much better than her wedding dress, and her hair looked on point, so I'll give her props there. I think it's a good look. And she also paired it with Diana's aquamarine ring, which I think is quite beautiful. It's kind of a bummer that she got that, but that's her only decent piece of Diana's jewelry that she got. And so Kate got the rest pretty much. And so I think that's a pretty good look for her and one of her better looks as a royal, especially when it comes to gala dresses. Next on the worst list is this Martin Grant maxi dress that she wore on a beach in Australia and then again on the South Africa tour. I just think this thing is ugly. It's just an ugly dress in my opinion. I don't like the colors, kind of this green and brown with white white in between. It's just kind of like, kind of a pukey color. And I don't say that to be mean. It's just, I really dislike the color. I don't think the colors by themselves are bad, but there's something of them together that's just blah. And this dress as well, it fit her pretty good when she wore it in Australia, although I think it was weird because it was like kind of too casual and then yet kind of over the top too, because they went to the beach. I think there would have been, something better she could have worn, because she ended up having to take off her shoes, and she's just wearing, I think, black and kind of tan wedges with it, which were probably didn't really match. And so anyway, she just wasn't a great look. And then she wore it in South Africa again. You could really tell that it was much tighter that time because it was after she had Archie, and she really has struggled to lose the baby weight, and it was kind of really evident in this dress. I just think it was kind of just deeply unflattering. I just hate the color. I don't like that it's spaghetti straps for a royal event. I always feel like that's kind of inappropriate. Kate has only done that once or twice, and her straps were much thicker than that. And so it's just, I don't know, I just do not like it. It's just a terrible look. I mean, she did, obviously the beach dress she wore was even more awful than that, but I'm going with official royal events, and I railed on that dress in another video. But anyways, yeah, I just don't like this dress at all. All right, so next in the best column is this Amelia Wickstead coat dress that she wore in Australia, and she paired it with a great fastener. This is one of the few times her hat look was kind of on point. She really struggled with fasteners and hats. I mean, the first one she wore was poop. It looked like a poop emoji, literally. And most of the time her hat looks were just fastener looks were pretty bad. I think I love most of what Kate wears in terms of fasteners, but Meghan, obviously part of it's just being an American, but she really just struggled in that. So I think she did really good in this outfit. I love the simplicity of this coat dress. I've seen other women wear it. They've worn the white and black button version. I think that dress was very appropriate for the occasion. I think Meghan looked good in it. Obviously, she wore black quite a lot, even though that's not really in the royal standards to wear, but I think this is definitely one of her better looks. All right, guys, so next in the worst column is this camel outfit from New York City that she wore. Oh my gosh, guys, I hate this thing so much. It's so bad. And the thing is, it's just so deeply, deeply unflattering on her. It highlights her weight gain from her babies. No shame in that whatsoever, that you've gained weight. Like every woman does, a lot of women struggle to lose it, but you don't want to highlight it. Like her belt literally goes across the middle, highlighting where all the weight gain is. And so it's just like, I don't know what she should have worn that was better. I think she wore a simple black dress, and I think with the camel coat, and I think that was like 1,000 times more flattering. But that camel outfit, it's just the way the belt cut across in the middle, like the silk of the shirt, all of it just made her look large, and is just highly unflattering. I think the color was kind of ugly, and it was a Max Mara, most of it. The coat, the pants. I don't think we got IDs from everything, but it was just a deeply, deeply unflattering look for her. And she was wearing all these heavy coats, even though it was pretty warm in New York because they were filming for Netflix, and so they had to hide the mics because apparently that was what they went for. So she wore these heavy, flowy things that just made her look generally bigger as well. So one of the tricks of fashion, to be a good, I think, fashion icon, is to dress for your body. And Meghan doesn't know how to do that. Like, she was pretty good when she was on Suits, But since then, because she's had access to a much higher bank account and can, you know, pretty much seems to buy whatever she wants, she picks these outfits that go for the brand and not necessarily that they're flattering or that they look good on her. And that outfit just didn't look good on her. It just really, really did not. I don't think the color was flattering. And, you know, it was a really bad look. And so I think Meghan would, you know, it'll be interesting to see what she does on this Invictus fashion tour. But hopefully she's had a better, you know, been able to better figure out how to dress her body. Because right now it's just pretty bad. It's pretty bad. And we'll get to the worst here in just a minute. All right, guys, for the second best outfit, I really did like this Dior outfit that she wore. Not the ugly one from Morocco. The thing is ugly and hideously expensive at like 100 grand. But this also probably hideously expensive dress and shoes and clutch that she wore that were from Dior, and then she had a fastener. And I really did actually like this look because it was for the RAF 100th anniversary, and I liked how her hat kind of had a propeller. It kind of looked like that. I thought that was a cute, sweet little nod. And I really did think, besides the dress being too tight and not fitted right, it was actually a pretty nice look. Obviously, I would say that dress was probably obscenely expensive, probably between 5 and 10 grand, if not more, because it was bespoke from Christian Dior, which is one of the most luxurious and expensive fashion houses in Europe. And it wasn't a British fashion designer, which it should have been for an event that's celebrating British history. It should have been a British fashion designer. That it wasn't, it was pretty telling for her part. I think it was a pretty good look for her, and I just did generally like it. I thought it was very clean and simple, and it was good. I mean, it would have been better if she wore British. Again, it's about, so some of you may be thinking, well, why is it so important that she wears British? Because she's putting money back into the British economy. She spent, you know, 5, 10, maybe even 15 grand on a bespoke Dior dress, clutch, and shoes. All that was bespoke. And so that costs a lot of money. And so it would be better to put that back into the British economy rather than putting it in the French economy. That's why British and all royals try to buy within country as much as they can. Sometimes they can't, but you know, Crown Princess Victoria, one of her recent kind of royal profile pictures is her in an H&M dress. And so it was, I think, you know, maybe a couple $100 for that dress. And so you can make things look expensive. It's just depending on how you wear it. But Meghan's team seems to want to buy the most expensive thing that she can possibly find. So that was one of them with his Dior outfit, but I did think it looked pretty good. And it was kind of a dark navy color. It was appropriate. I think it was a good look, except for the obscene price and the fact that it wasn't British for a British event celebrating British history. All right, guys. Second to worst. And this is almost, because I was going through Meghan's Mirror, which is kind of defunct now. They're not updating it quite as much. And this was a website that many people thought was directly connected to Meghan and that she was getting kickbacks from them kind of trying to sell her looks on their site. Because they kind of came out before supposedly Meghan became a royal, and as if she was going to be, like, they knew something was happening before it happened. And I'm sorry, but nobody would have cared who Meghan Markle was if she didn't land Harry. Nobody would care. Like, creating a website entirely dedicated to Meghan's fashion is it would have been an incredibly stupid business decision because nobody would care. They had some sort of inside connection why they created the site. Anyways, so I was going through and I remember seeing this outfit, but I had no idea it was bespoke Givenchy. And it is this waiter style outfit. It looks like something a waiter wore while she was pregnant. It's literally a white button up shirt and a maxi dress, a maxi skirt. That's all it is. You could go into any Target and buy the exact same outfit and probably spend $50. It is probably obscenely expensive and obscenely cheap looking. And it just looked like none of it looked good. And not to say that these style dresses can't look good. Sharon Stone famously, I believe she actually took her husband's button-up shirt and actually wore it underneath a skirt at the Oscars or the Golden Globes, something like that. Kind of made a bit of a splash, but she looked really, really good. And this just is not, the way with Meghan's baby bump is and everything, it was just an ugly look. And there was kind of a high thigh slit on it, which I didn't realize. It's not that bad. But it's just deeply unflattering, deeply cheap looking, and it's just, this is why Claire Wright Keller was fired after working with Meghan. Yeah, so it's basically as soon as Meghan Markle left the royal family, Claire Wright Keller who was the head of Givenchy as a creative director, was basically fired a couple months after that. And so kind of like, you know, they liked the royal connection, the family that owned, you know, kind of oversaw Givenchy. They liked the family connection or the business manager, but they did not really like what it did for their brand to be associated with Meghan. It's just an ugly look. It just really is an ugly look. And so, and you know, it's just, the Aquazura mules weren't bad, but I would have been surprised. It would have been kind of challenging to wear those while she was pregnant. Anyways, it's just the whole outfit just didn't really work, and I don't think it was the best. But anyways, but for number one, we do have another Givenchy look, and this is from the fashion award shows where Meghan kind of supposedly crashed the party and gave an award to Claire Wright Keller for her, you know, kind of, she gave an award to Claire Wright Keller, and it looks, this one shoulder outfit, you know, velvet and black. Obviously, Meghan really liked black, and even though it wasn't in royal protocol, she also had her nails painted dark, which is also not royal protocol. But anyways, I mean, it's actually a pretty good look for her. That would have been much better to wear than the ugly monstrosity we were just talking about for that event she went to. But, you know, this look with the one shoulder actually looked really good. And it was only probably one of the few good looks she had while she was pregnant. Most of her looks were pretty bad. And so it was just, it did work. And so I'll give her props for that. It was a pretty good look. And so I think Meghan just should kind of stick to maybe a bit more of that style, try to figure out something that works. Although I will say, I mean, we got a pretty decent look at it, but not a great look as well, because it was on an event broadcast. And obviously she was clutching her bump as well, because heaven forbid nobody knows that she was pregnant or carrying, you know, the 7th in line to the throne. Because, you know, the 7th is more important than the 3rd, which is Prince George, or the 4th, which is Charlotte, or the 5th, which is Louis. She had the most important baby in the British royal family, just in case we all forgot. It was Meghan. So anyways, guys, that was kind of my best of the best. But now here is the worst of the worst. And though I do really loathe the Dior dress she wore that was like $100,000 in Morocco, which I've talked about quite a few times, the worst of the worst, I think, is this monstrosity and incredibly ugly Carolina Herrera dress that she wore to the Freedom Gala. I think this thing is ugly. It's just a Project Runway reject. The bodice doesn't fit or look good. It's too tight on Meghan. For lack of any other way to say it, her back skin or her back fat is kind of, you know, is pronounced because the dress is so tight. And it just made her look wide. It was deeply unflattering on her. The color was good. Everything else about it was awful. Like, and it was like, it had a really high thigh split in the front, which is kind of vulgar to begin with. And then it was really, really low cut. She, you know, she doesn't have much of a bust. So that I think is kind of fine. But like, you know, it kind of was, had this weird construction kind of around her nipple area. I mean, it's just ugly. It's just a really, really ugly dress. I don't even think it looks good on the model. But you look at that and you notice that it's meant for a woman who's much, sorry to say this, and this is not to body shame. Please understand, this is not to body shame. This is just, we all need to know, we need to dress for what flatters our figure as women, not go for something that looks great on a model. Because if it looks great on the model, that has no bearing on whether it'll look good on us. She's not tall enough for that dress. Meghan's not tall enough for that dress, number one. And I just don't think it worked for her in the slightest. And so, yeah, it's just yeah, that's one of those things where, you know, if you have the money doesn't mean, I mean, if I was Carolina Herrera, I would be incredibly embarrassed to have that dress on her. That's, yeah, that anybody promoted that as being connected to Carolina Herrera is pretty bad. So anyways, guys, those are my list of her 5 best and her 5 worst looks. Let me know what you think. I know there's a lot more kind of in the worst column, and there's a decent amount in the best. Oh, I did forget one. She did wear one Carolina Herrera dress I did like, and that was the denim dress she wore to Polo. That was pretty nice. The rest of them were a lot of misses. So anyways, guys, let me know what you think, and I look forward to seeing you guys again really, really soon for another couple of videos. We will be following the Invictus Games. I'll be doing a lot on the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. So again, feel free to hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys again soon. Bye.